Beautiful people, and welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Nicholas Romero. If you don't know me, if you do, welcome back, sis. Pin! Anyways, today is going to be a cluster F of a video. I'm basically going to be doing so many random little activities and things in my life that I do. I need to do my laundries, I need to take a shower and get ready and do my glam, and just for fun, I don't know. And then I'm going to talk about more of my book. So far, I have the title Rekindle Flames. That might change, I don't know, with the process and how the book flows. But I want to talk about more about my book. I do not want to be secret. I don't want to be that person. I want you to come along with me as I create this book. You know, I might create 50,000 words and be like, this book is really stupid. And you guys are gonna come along for that. Let's see if I do it, let's see if I don't. But I woke up this morning to my phone blowing up of Taylor Swift, the release party movie in the movie theaters on October 3rd through the 5th. And my mom bought me tickets to the movies. It was so easy. Then getting the Eras Tour tickets, obviously. But I'm so excited for that movie, tea. And yeah, so this vlog is going, just to be a cluster. So let's get started with talking about my book before I take a shower. So I've been writing on my MacBook, and I like writing on a MacBook versus an iPad with a, typer thingy. I like a MacBook, it just gives me life. So let me pull up the doc. I don't have a fancy document editor thingy. I'm writing on Pages, the Apple Pages app, and I really like it so far. You can see, I don't want you to see the text, but you can see the prologues and the table of contents. You can see your formats and your document and inserts and all that stuff. So far we have Rekindle Flames, and I wrote the prologue. This book is really going to be in my character's point of view. Her name is Lacey. I haven't picked a last name yet. I do have one, but I don't think it's gonna be that one. But her name is Lacey. It's spelled Lacie, something cute, something T. And she goes to college, starts her new life because her boyfriend royally cheated on her with her best friend Annabelle. Connor ain't shit, so she's like, okay, I'm going to college anyways, I'm gonna get my degree, I'm gonna be that girl. And so she's going to college 5 hours away from her hometown, a small town. I don't know what the name is yet, but she's going to school. And she meets her new roommate, Ashley. This is how so far I got there. And the main chapter one was about, telling the story of how Connor royally cheated on her. It was very sad. Annabelle was her friend. I didn't discuss too much about it because I'm going to talk about it later in the book, because I want to do flashbacks and stuff like that. But Rekindle Flames is a title because she will see Connor, I don't know, on the first day of school, but she will see him in the school year, and all that trauma that's gonna build up, and it's gonna be explosive. I don't know yet if Annabelle will be with Connor, or Connor is trying to get back with Lacey. But Lacey ends up finding a new boy, Trevor, that is really hot. He's on the football team, and he's ripped and all that stuff. Anyways, I just can't wait to write that chapter. But she meets him, and she's not a dork, but she loves her grades, keeping them A's, them B's, and she loves school. So I'm excited to see how that homeboy football player type revolves into Lacey's academic success queen. So that's what's going on right now in the book. I'm on chapter 2. Chapter 1 ended with her meeting her new roommate, Ashley. Ashley is a queen. She is a vibe. Ashley is literally do you either want tequila or vodka? Like, skip the hello, how are you? Do you want tequila or vodka? Like, period. And so she makes her drink and they decorate their room, but they decided just to decorate their bedding and put their bedding on the bed and go to bed. And then she woke up in the morning and she's making bacon and eggs, Ashley. And then Ashley is like, here you go, here's your drink. And my girl Lacey's like, she's she literally like spits it out and she is like, girl. And then Ashley's like, I promise I'm like not a drunk at all. Like, please, like, don't think I'm a drunk. And then like Lacey's like, no, I don't think you're a drunk. But like, sis, what the hell? So this book is like, I don't know. I don't want it to be comedy romance. I don't want it to be comedy, but I think there's gonna be some funny parts in it. I feel like Ashley and Lacey's relationship, their friendship, is gonna be really vibing. It's gonna be that girlhood that we need. And yeah, it's gonna be really messy. I want this to be messy. And obviously Connor royally effed up the relationship. So I wanna see when Connor comes to the school, how Lacey's gonna react. How is that trauma response gonna be handled? You know, that trauma really messed with her. It really messed with her. So I wanna see that arc of how her trauma and all that stuff. So I'm just really excited. I sound like a freaking weirdo talking about a book characters, but I love writing and this gets me so excited and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go now take a shower. I'm gonna come back to do my skincare with you guys. And yeah. I just got out the shower and I was listening to bops. Like, I was literally listening to Megan Thee Stallion in the shower, but then when I got out of the shower, I was listening to Midnight Sun by Zara Larsson. Bitch, it's the midnight. Anyways, you know, I don't get copyrighted. But then I was listening to Milkshake by Kellis. Oh my god. That Gap Cat's Eye commercial has me hooked. And I love it so much. But let's do our skincare. So, you know, I love my girl Diabla First Spray Serum. You shake that hoe up and she is ready to go. So let's spray her. She smells so good, like so good. Then my Rhode. I only got the mini to like test it out and I love it. And then I'm gonna do the Dew Glow Tinted Sunscreen. I do 3 pumps because this is kind of like my foundation. Because I'm going to do a little bit of glam. I have my mom's friends are coming over. So I want to look good. The fact, like, this is just a good overall glowy base. And since I'm at home, I don't need to do some primers and all that stuff. Just this, some concealer, maybe a little bit of foundation, like on the, you know, I kind of like to underpaint now. So I do my concealer, blend that in, then my bronzer, then my foundation. So I'm doing my makeup off camera, just listen to my bops. And yeah. So I just finished my glam, just a little glowy and I wanted that. So I finished my glammies and I'm gonna go downstairs. I have to do a few things downstairs, like clean up and stuff for the festivities tonight. But yeah. Hi guys, so I went downstairs, I cleaned up the living room, my dad's cleaning the floor, and I'm gonna clean up the kitchen later, probably after this video. But I have my blue and raspberry lemon. I just want to talk about what's going on with Nico's Diaries. So I did film Nico's Diaries. I wanted it to be like a diary, like when you open the book to a new chapter into my life. But I got a little bored of it. That's why I just did my one let's talk about doing my nighttime skincare routine. That video was like my breaking point, kind of. I was just like, okay, enough with the Nico's Diary facade. Let's just be real and let's be honest. So my new vlogs moving forward are just vlogs on my channel. They're not gonna be anything like under like a name or something like that. I'm gonna have really long titles and we're just gonna be here with our tea. So that's just what I've been thinking about. I put on my EOS Vanilla Cashmere Body Oil and my Strawberry Dream EOS Body Lotion. Then I put on a mixture of Snowflakes and Cashmere by Bath & Body Works, spray, and Cozy Vanilla Bourbon. So I smell like a dream, like a strawberry vanilla dream. So that's just what that's just what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna probably write a little bit more of chapter 2. Right now I just ended, or I'm trying to end, them waking up and just having their breakfast to go into their first day of orientation. This is like the first week of, not even the first week, week 0 of college, just getting ready and ready for the classes. So, yeah. Welcome back to another talk. I am including this into my little video that I've been filming earlier today. And I just want to talk more. This is like kind of like a part 2 of my last video. I want to tell the real and raw story of what happened to myself. Like how, like I hinted at, like, 4 years ago, I wasn't the same person as I am now, and there's a reason behind it and stuff like that. It's kind of triggering, but it's not at the same time. Like when I talk about it, I get a little emotional, but when I release it and stuff, I just feel like that was my journey, but that's not who I am now. Like I am above that now. It's still going to be a part of me, but I am very different in a very different space in my life and that. So let's just get into it. And I hope you like it. I hope this story helps somebody. I hope if you are going through the same struggles as I have, that it helps you. That if you've been through it, that it helps you with healing processes. Because if I had this story when I was going through it, I probably wouldn't make the choices that I did. But, here we are. So, yeah, so let's just get started. I don't have a script or notes or anything. This is just coming from my heart, speaking my truth. And, yeah. So 4 years ago, I'm just saying 4 years, I don't know, but I was a sophomore in high school, and that year we came back to school for a little bit, or actually we had a full year at school, and it was really hard. I actually loved COVID. Like, COVID was so tea, being at home, just being online, don't have to see nobody. And then I think when we went back to school in sophomore year, I don't know. It's like people weren't the same and it wasn't really fun. And I had a few friends, I always wanted a big friend group, but I know if that does not work out for a lot of people. And I'm glad I didn't have a big friend group, but I had a couple of friends. And we were just talking and talking and talking. And one day I just had this epiphany that, wow, like my sexuality, I'm even questioning myself. Like, so before middle school and stuff like that, the first time I ever heard you're gay, kind of that kind of talk was in 5th grade. And I'm still young. So that was a little bit of like, oh, I don't even know what that was. And then when I was in middle school, people would pick on me for my voice, for my weight, for just anything that was about me. And I never understood why the hatred was coming, but I didn't. I also didn't dish it back because I'm not a fighter. Like, even though I might seem like one, I might talk like one, I am not a fighter. I don't believe in fighting and all that stuff. But um, I was just really down. And then COVID came, loved it, loved being at home, loved just being me and stuff. And yeah, when I went back to school, it just wasn't the same. People were still talking in my ear, gay, gay this, gay that. And then I was like, is that so? And no one pushed me to do, no one pushed the, gayness on me because it was always there. Like, no shade, no tea. I was always that person. I was gonna say that B. My favorite saying. I was always that person. I used to do little shows in the living room for my family. I was Broadway and Spanaway. So this is not new to me. I'm true to this. So when a couple months into the school year, like around my birthday time, is when I went to New York for a little getaway. And my mom surprised me with Wicked, and I was just so happy. I was like, Wicked on Broadway. I always wanted to see Wicked at the Gershwin Theater, and I was just so excited. And so we went. We had a really good time. My mom was in the deep in her cancer treatments, so that was also a cause into what played into what happened, and I'm gonna get there. But so she was dealing with cancer, but she was like, let's go to New York. And we had the best time. But when I came home, I was probably on such a high of just loving New York that a couple weeks later, I just sank. Like, I was not the same Nico that everyone knew and loved. Like, I was always in my head. Am I walking funny? Because people would make fun of how I walk and how I talk with my hands and stuff. So I would like, am I talking with my hands a little bit too much? Am I walking a certain way? Do I look like feminine when I walk? I don't know. And then I tried to like bro out my voice like dog or like yo, or I don't know. Like, I try to be a bro, but it would just never work for me. I was always with the girls, with the friends with girls, and that's just what it was. But I got really down. I never experienced anything like this before, but my anxiety was high, like all the day, all the time. And I remember I wasn't focusing in class, that I was just doing, I was just thinking about my life. And one day my mom picked me up from school, and I told her, I was like, stop your car. We're literally in the driveway. And I told her, like, I don't know, but I might be gay. And she was like, okay, so I still love you. Like, what's about? Like, I never wanted to have a like coming out story. I never did. But that was just it. And she was like, still love you, like, what about it? So then we told my dad and brother, and at the time we told my grandma. Everyone was very supportive and stuff like that. And I felt very loved, but at the same time I still feel down. So my mom contacted one of her friends, and I had a talk with him, and he was sharing his experiences of being in the LGBTQ, and I really loved it. At the time, I was probably like so out of it and not even like really giving him the time of day. But I hope you're watching this, and I want to say sorry because your words really helped in the process, in the healing process and stuff like that. So anyways, and I after that talk, so I'm trying to replay it in my head. After that talk, I told my mom, can I take off Friday from school? And in the back of my mind, she did not know this, but she knows this now because obviously, like, we talked about it. But in the back of my mind, I did not have a plan on what I was going to do. This is a trigger warning for some people talking about this kind of stuff, but I did not have a plan on what I was going to do, but I know I did not simply want to be on Earth anymore. Like, wow, hard saying this, but I just didn't see myself moving forward, and sometimes that happens, but wow, I don't want to cry, so I'm just trying to, like, change the tone, but you can't really change the tone when you talk about this stuff. But I just didn't want to be on Earth anymore. I didn't tell her that, and we went to Seattle for the day. We went to the Starbucks Roastery Reserve down by Lumen Field, and we enjoyed coffee and stuff, but in the back of my mind, I was like, today is the day, you don't know what the hell you're gonna do, but yeah. And so we hung out with my other cousins, and we were watching a movie, The Greatest Showman, and my mom was checking on me, like, eyeing me, like, are you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But in the back of my mind, I was on my phone writing what I was going to say to my family. And I didn't know what I was going to say until I actually said it. So then we went home, and I put on a facade. I act like I was happy and stuff. I didn't face her, but I was talking with her and stuff. I was looking out the window, and I was like, this is the last time I'm ever going to see this scenery, like the night in Bellevue and stuff. So, anyways, so when we got home, she was getting out of the car, and I went inside, and I saw my dogs. At the time, we had Jojo, Cooper, and Luna, and I told my dogs, like, I love you, and all that stuff, and it was sad, and I tried to hold back my tears, but I was like, I love you, please. I'm kind of numb to it at this point, but I'm not at the same time, if you know what that means. Like, I still get emotional about it. But anyways, I told my dogs, like, I love you. You made me so happy in life and all that stuff. And anyways, 1 second, I need to end this clip because I don't want to take up too much space. Anyways, 1 second. So I told my dogs I love you, and then my mom was in the bathroom, and then I went to my dad, and I said goodnight, and I hugged him, and I thought, like, fuck or F, do not cry. But I hugged him. I don't usually hug, we're not like a huge hugging family, so I just hugged him tight and not said any words about it, but I was just like, I love you, you know what I mean, good night. And then I told my mom good night, and then this was just spur of the moment. I went to our little, like, medicine drawer where we had, like, cough medicine and stuff and that, but I took the big bottle of Tylenol upstairs with me and the big jug of water, and I went upstairs, and I got my little note, and I just wrote, like, I love you guys and stuff like that. Wow. I don't normally talk about this. I'm a little nervous and stuff like that. But anyways, I told them that I love you. I told my mom that, and my dad, thank you for always, like, allowing me to be me and stuff like that. And, I told my brother, like, take care of them for me and stuff like that. So it was just really sad, but, I just told them that I love them. I talked about my cousins a little bit and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm just not happy. And now I don't have to think about it anymore. I'm just, like, by myself, like, period. So after I did the note, I put it, like, in between my pillow and stuff, so I didn't have to look hard to find it. I know this is crazy about talking about it, but anyways, that was my thought, like, okay, I don't want them to, like, look around, so might as well just be there. And so I took the medication, I don't know how much I took, but I took quite a bit. And um, I thought my heart was slowing down. Maybe that was just my nerves. I don't know. But in the middle of the night, I woke up. Like, I would like, and I was like, crap. It did not work, like, at all. Like, it did not work, and I'm still here. And I just bursted out crying. Like, literally, like, but I had to put a pillow over my face because I didn't want my brother to hear next door in his bedroom. So I had to be very, but I was just crying. Then I went back to bed. Then I woke up in the morning and I was not feeling the best. Then when I leaped up, sorry, it's TMI, but I vomited everywhere, and stuff like that. Then I felt like, okay, well, that it didn't work. And maybe that, and now it was a sign. Like, I know it was a sign, like, you need to be on this earth still. So I did the walk of shame down the stairs, went to my parents' room, woke up my mom, and I told her, yo, this is what happened. And she was like, she, I don't know if she knew, but it was, like, obviously, like, you know, I told her that I was going to do this, but she didn't know when and how. So, she told me to go take a shower, and I took a shower, but I did not do anything. I just sat under the water and cried and stuff. Then I laid on the floor, on the cold floor in our bathroom, because it felt actually very good. I just laying on the floor and stuff like that. But I laid on the floor, and then I heard her on the phone with, like, not like the 911 line, but like the non-emergency line. And they told her to take me to the hospital. So we went to the hospital, and, you know, I was dehydrated and all that stuff. And I remember in the room, after the doctor came and stuff like that, I told my mom, like, please just, like, let me go, girl. Like, it's not my time. It's not my, you know. And she cried and we cried. I don't think I had enough tears to cry, but I had that crying, like persona. Anyways, so, that happened, and I stayed in the hospital for a couple of days. Then I went to the adolescent behavioral health unit because the social workers, like, recommended that I go there, get some help, talk to the counselors and the therapist and all that stuff. So I did that, but the whole time I was like, get me the hell out of here. I do not want to be here. So I was fighting with my mom on the phone, like, please get me out of here. This is not for me. Which, in reality, I should have stayed. I should have stuck it through. I should have told the real story. I was doing that cover up that I always do and stuff. So when I came home, I felt like, okay, let me change my life. Let me do this. But a couple weeks later, I was down again. And I did not, for the rest of the time up from getting out the hospital to now, like present day, I did not do anything else to myself. Even though I had those thoughts, I didn't do anything. And I was very talkative with my mom about that I'm having these feelings. We did go to the hospital a couple of times, but they gave us some coping skills, and that's pretty much it. I did try therapy over the years. That did not help. Talking about it, just spewing it out, just does not help for me. And people wonder why I'm so close with my mom. I'm close with my mom because of my trauma that I went through. You know, I didn't just not want to be on earth because I was getting bullied at school. It was more factors that I'm not going to speak about because they're, like, you know, close to me, or not close to me, but, like, those kind of things are still, like, you know, I don't want to open that box yet, but I just think, like, the overwhelmingness of making a decision about my sexuality, it just, like, broke me, and I just went. And I tried different medicines and stuff, but the medicines that I'm on now is actually really working, and that's why I did not cry. But I had, like, a little crying, like, sound, like, raspy voice, but I did not cry. Thank you, medicine. But I was just really down and stuff, and I changed schools because I did not want to go back to that school at all. Changed my school, and then a few of my friends came with me, but our friendships did not work out. We were off and on, and it was not good. You know, that's another story time for later. But I already did a story time on this channel, but that I took it away because I don't need that energy. I don't think I want to talk about it again. But yeah. But it took a lot of years to get where I am today, and I changed my life. You know, I don't have those thoughts anymore, and if I do have those thoughts, you know, I talked with my family, I talk with my parents and stuff, and we, you know, make plans and all that stuff, but about to keep me safe. But it was hard, like, being in the house years ago. All the knives are gone. There's no, you know, medication anywhere in my sight. Like, I felt like I was a little bit like a prisoner in my own home, but it was for my safety, and I'm very thankful. But I'm glad that I'm still on Earth, that I'm glad that I get to be a baddie still, and yeah, during that time of my life, I really was into music. Like, I still am, but I was really into music. And the one song that just kept me going, that like chilled me down, was Breathe In by Ariana Grande. And that song is life changing. Ariana Grande is that girl. And then, you know, when I was sad about stuff, I would listen to Taylor Swift. That's how I found my Taylor Swift like niche, and I just love it now. But I love my girl Taylor and all that stuff. Sorry, I just got a notification. But yeah, and it took a long time, but that self-discovery of being who I am, you know, gay and stuff like that, I got more into skincare. I took my aesthetics route. I went into makeup, and I'm, you know, beauty queen now, whatever you want to say, and stuff like that. But I'm just a happier person now. You know, when I was in aesthetic school, you know, I had friends in my class, but that turned out, you know, I'm good with being alone. You know what I mean? I don't really need friends. Like, I got myself to entertain. I got my family, and I got my dogs. Oh, another hard part of what happened was my dog, Daisy, passed away very suddenly, and that also triggered the shit out of me. And also Luna shortly after Daisy. So that was a lot. Like, back to back dogs dying is not okay. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. But Daisy, if you didn't know, was my mini schnauzer, my black mini schnauzer, and she was my coping mechanism dog. Like, my mom got her for me to just be on this earth still, and I love her to death, and sad what happened, but she's still in my heart, and stuff like that. But anyways, but now, present day, you know, I'm thriving. Sometimes I still think about what happened to me, but I'm just glad that I ultimately had my family. If I didn't have them, you know, I fight with my brother, I fight with my family, but at the end of the day, we love each other, and I wouldn't change anything for the world. And yeah, so this is my story. You know, I am a suicide survivor. I never thought that would happen to me, but it did. And I am okay with it. You know, I have came and gone with my emotions. And I'm just sharing my story because I was thinking about it today. I was like, should I tell, should I not? But I ultimately wanted to, and stuff like that. So if this helps anybody, you know, I would love that. So, yeah. But that was my story. Let's continue to the rest of the episode, or the video, whatever, the vlog. No more Nico's Diaries, but yeah. Thank you. Add an important note into the video is I talked about this for many reasons, but September is National Suicide Prevention Month, and I felt very heavy on that, and I wanted to speak my mind and speak my truth. So, yeah.